I know that we can.
I know darn well we can work it out. Oh, yes, we can. I know we can. Yes, we can. Oh, why can't we if we want to? Yes, we can.
I know we can make it work.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me. Yes, We Can podcast with Pastor Sherman D.Manning. We have another exciting show today. I have one of my friends, one of my dear friends, my partners in the ministry here. He is the proud pastor of Beacon Light Baptist Church. His name is Pastor Stanley Richard. We have an inside joke. I call him Gangster Stan, and he is my friend. I was with him earlier today, and now we have him on the program. Pastor Stanley Richard, say hello to everybody.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Mr. Pastor Stanley Richard. Dr. Sherman, man, is my best friend. And like we said, we have an inside joke. He called me Gangster Stan. And ain't nothing negative about the word gangster. I know when you hear the word gangster,
Right.
people automatically think of something negative.
Right.
But that's just an inside joke that me and Pastor Sherman Manning have.
That's
but
right.
it's what we mean, I'm a gangster for Jesus.
Amen. Amen.
I'm not afraid of the devil.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So listen, my audience doesn't know you like I know you. I know that you used to sell dope. I know you used to. I used to gang bang, shoot dope, sling. I used to gang bang, shoot guns and things. But now I'm preaching in Jesus' name. But I want you to tell my people, tell my audience, tell me who you are.
Well, my name is Stanley Richard. I grew up in L.A., right by Watts, on 109th and Avalon by Locke High School. I graduated high school in 82. When I graduated high school, 82, I was 17 when I graduated. I counted my first $1 million when I was 18 years old. And I lived life selling drugs. I never did gangbang. I was just a hustler player, what they call it.
Right.
I just like to see the nice things, and I want to hustle all my life. So for 10 years, I hustled. For 10 years.
Now, when you counted that first $1 million, what kind of car were you driving then, by the way?
I was driving, matter of fact, I had a Cadillac, I had a Porsche, I had a Corvette. At 18, I had every car you can name. At 18, 21, I had every car that you can imagine. You name it, I had it. Because I was into cars. And it was so funny that I was working. I was working while I was in high school. But I wanted the nicer things. I knew that working a regular job, we couldn't get it.
Right.
And I wanted it right away. You know what I'm saying, Dr. Manning?
Right.
So I ended up hooking up with some people, man, and Freeway Rick and Cadillac Boys. Man, let me tell you, Doc, they put me in the game at an early age, man. And I tell you, man, I can remember counting all that money. And I said, we'll come at the 999,000. They said, that's $1 million. I said, oh, okay. $1 million then.
You had $1 million in cash.
Yes.
Now, your light keeps going on and off there. It's lighting and not lighting, but it's okay. We're gonna keep it rolling. But I want to know from you, something happened to you, and you were in a hospital room, and they were massaging your heart. I mean, it was a fascinating story that you told me once. Tell us about that.
Well, I call it a drug deal that went bad.
Okay.
Drug deal that went bad, and they ended up trying to rob me.
Okay.
They came in the house, and they tried to rob me. And I know it was like a setup. I know it. I tell anybody, I was a good dude doing the wrong thing. Right. And what happened, they tried to rob me, and we were tussling with the gun, and they shot me close range. The bullet went through my chest cavity. Mm-hmm. It just missed my heart. Mm-hmm. It went through both of my lungs, through my stomach, and the bullet was sticking out my back, just around my spinal.
Wow.
The bullet missed every vital organ that could have instantly killed me. Mm. And what happened, and when they rushed me to the hospital, my brother put me in the car. We went to Martin Luther King Hospital. This in July of 1988. They rushed me to Martin Luther King Hospital on 120th and Wilmington. Hmm. And my brother rushed up there, and it just so happens some paramedics was out front They grabbed me, and I passed out. And they had to open up my stomach. They pop it, they break this bone right here.
Right.
And the doctor was saying he had my heart in his hand because they had to massage my heart while they operate on me.
Right.
To keep the heart stimulated.
Right.
And they kept on massaging my heart, and they had to repair 4 holes.
Mm-hmm.
The bullet that entered my lung, the bullet that exited my lung, the bullet that entered my stomach, the bullet that exited my stomach, and the bullet that entered my other lung, and the bullet that exited that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 holes in my body. That's why he had to massage my heart while they do all the surgery.
Wow.
In a coma, I was on life support. And while I was on life support, that's when I received my calling to the ministry on my deathbed. I said yes to Jesus. I came out that coma.
Now tell us about that. Tell us about that calling on your deathbed. What happened?
What happened? It was like for some reason I heard my grandmother's voice. Mm-hmm. Then I heard it was a voice like, "Are you gonna do what I called you to do?" And I thought I was crazy.
Right.
Never used drugs a day in my life. Right. Never been high. Never been drunk. And I know I'm not crazy.
Right.
When I was in that coma, that voice said, "What could that money do for you? What could the women do for you? What could the cars do for you? Everything that you obtained, what could it do for you now?" I said nothing. Then I said to myself, I don't really have time for this church stuff. I don't have time for this church stuff. Then I sat there in that coma. I couldn't wake myself. I tried to wake myself up. I couldn't get up. Mm-hmm. Then I just said, "Lord, whatever you want me to do, I'll do it. Lord, I don't care what it is. Whatever you want me to do, I'll do it." And man, when I said yes to Lord, whatever you want me to do, that's when I came out the coma. When I came out my coma. Man, when I came out the coma, it was an Asian lady above me looking at me. Mm-hmm. And I looked at her, and she looked at me. I looked at her, and I just felt these tubes coming out of my nose. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That breathing apparatus they had on.
Right. Wow.
They took that tube, because they had that tube that was expanding my lung, that was draining the blood out of my lungs. Right. They had a tube down my mouth to drain the blood out of my stomach. So I had a colostomy bag.
So you were basically dead.
Yes.
Without the machines.
I had a colostomy bag, man. I tell you. Right. It took me a year to recover because I lost almost 100 pounds, man.
Right.
And that was the most devastating day of my life. But I always say the worst day of my life was the best day of my life. Wow. Because it woke me up from the things that I was doing. And now that I look back over my life, man,
yes,
I thank God that he allowed that to happen. Because if he didn't allow that to happen, I'd probably be dead or in jail right now.
Right.
But look at me now, man.
Right, right.
I'm preaching. I got a family.
Yes.
I'm married. Yes. I got my own home. I just retired from my job for 33 years. I'm pastoring the church. And I'm blessed.
Yes.
You know, and I look back at the things that I did when I was doing wrong. God turned around and said, now you can live for me and you can have it the right way.
Yes.
Working every day.
Yes.
Now I was able to count another $1 million, but guess what?
Right.
$1 million worth of joy.
Come on.
$1 million worth of peace, Doc.
Right.
And that type of money and wealth is more than any kind of wealth that you can ever obtain, man. You can keep that. Anything I tell anybody, person come to me talking about, man, I'll give you $10,000, I'll give you $20,000. Take this drugs over and drop it off. You can have that money. That money I don't need. But after what I suffered in that hospital, man,
right.
I never want to suffer like that again. I never want to suffer like that.
So the worst day of your life turned into the best day of your life and helped make you the man that you are right now. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes. Yes.
And I
The
noticed that
worst of my life and the best day of my life.
and I noticed that every Sunday morning, your church is full, and that a lot of the people who come to your church are ex-gangsters and ex-drug
Yes.
addicts. Do you think something about what you went through got you ready to attract these kind of people? Unpack that for me.
You know, it's so funny, Manny,
Mhm.
that I look back over my life.
Right,
I never did gangbang,
right,
but that's all the people I hung with.
right, right,
You know what I'm saying?
right, right.
I mean, pimps, players, and dope dealers, and gangbangers, and you name it. Those are people that I attracted
Right,
and I led.
right,
You know what I'm saying? And I always gave them good advice, man.
right,
Because I knew I was a good person doing the wrong thing.
right, right.
You know, I remember my friend Richie Rich, he came to church and they were doing something. And I asked him, I said, man, I want to do what y'all doing.
Right.
And Richie Rich said, Stan, I can't let you do this, man. He would not put nothing illegal in my hand. He said, man, this ain't for you, man. That was God speaking to me right then.
Right.
Dr. Manning.
Right.
Back then, God was speaking to me, said, Stan, this ain't for you, man.
Right.
It just ain't for you.
Right.
I had to literally go outside of God's will
Yes.
to do what I did.
Wow. Tell me about this guy. I saw a guy at your church who talked about they gave you a lot of cash money one time. You wanted some money for a car or something, and you wanted to sling to do it. Tell me about that.
Well, what they did, remember, I had a love for cars.
Right.
And I always had good ideas for cars.
Right.
I know how to fix cars up real good.
Right.
And what they did, they gave me a whole lot of money for my cars. And I had a Cadillac, and it was the Cadillac boys back then.
Right.
It was Freeway Rick.
Right.
It was the Cadillac boys. It was Whitey's Enterprise. It was Third World.
Right.
It was different types of cliques and groups that they named themselves
Right.
in the drug war.
Right.
Cadillac boys always wanted to buy my car because I always had clean Cadillacs.
Right.
Low-rider Cadillacs.
Right.
And they gave me instead of putting illegal drugs in my hand,
Right.
they just gave me a lot of cash. And I took the cash and bought the drugs.
Right. 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 Right.
That's how I got up into that, you know.
And this guy came to your church and he said something about you wanted some money and they told you they couldn't let you do it, that they would give you the money to do it instead. What was that about? A couple of Sundays
No,
ago.
that was about the car. That was Rich Rich.
Okay.
They gave me the money. They gave me a lot of money for my cars.
Okay.
But
Wonderful.
they wouldn't put no drugs in my hand.
Right. They didn't want you in the drug game.
know,
They knew that wasn't you.
Yes.
But what I like about your story, I mean, I remember my son Jose and I came to your house one time. We were low riding, and we weren't in the Riviera. That was another car. What was that car?
No, that was a Riviera.
Okay.
That was a Riviera.
All right. We were low riding in that car, and people they say, we can't believe, man, we got two preachers and his Hispanic son in the back seat. You know, Jose never looked up from the phone, and we were going up and down and doing all. But I was telling them that that's a part of our ministry because we're not afraid to get our hands dirty. And we realize that Jesus said that it's those who are sick that need the doctor, not those who are well. And when you talk about your story, about what you went through, about that worst day of your life being a turning point, I was talking to someone the other day and I said to them that I really believe, and I want to know what you think about this. I believe that your history, Pastor Stan, gets you ready for your destiny. I believe that a lot of time what we call trauma is actually training for where we're going to. Do you believe that's been the case in your story?
Yes, I do. It's no doubt in my mind. I believe it. You know, I've always been a leader, and God allowed me to lead the right way.
Right.
You know, and I always give people positive. And the trip about it, when I was doing wrong, I was doing the right thing with the wrong where I was getting it.
Right.
With a bit of play with words. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I would help people with the legal way I was getting money.
Right.
I was helping people.
Wow.
You know, and it was so funny. People said, Stan, you're a good brother doing the wrong thing. And I never could really understand what they meant. I said, y'all doing everything. Why all of a sudden they making a big deal out of when I want to do something?
Right.
And it was something about when I give them advice, it was wisdom I was giving them.
Right.
And it was like, that's why I had everybody selling for me, and I wasn't doing a lot of selling. I was putting it in everybody else's hand. God was preparing me to pastor back then.
Thank you.
And what I'm doing, the same thing. I'm promoting people. I'm putting people. And it's so funny that God allowed me and your life to cross.
Yes.
And we crossed.
Yes.
And we met through Chief Apostle.
Yes.
Which was we was crossed like this in the streets.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, and Chief Apostle was actually a gang leader, and I'm going to have him on the show soon. But I want you to chime back in on that point that you were making, and I want you to get to how we actually met. I was telling someone the other day again that your history gets you ready for your destiny. And Pastor Stan, a lot of them, they see me now, and they see the nice suits, and they see all of that other little stuff that they think is important or that they think matters. And someone said to me the other day, a person on my staff was counting. Because we keep inventory. Pastor Stan, God has used me to house more than 1,000 people in this city in the past 5 or 6 years, more than 1,000. I know you've seen it up close and personal, what God has done through me. And I don't say that to brag on the Sherm. I'm bragging on the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. I'm bragging on God. But what they don't understand is that the prison cell, Pastor Stan, got me ready for the work that I'm doing right now. The reason I can relate, there's my armor bearer with me today. When I met him, he had a crack pipe in one hand and a blanket in the other hand. And I basically said to him what Christ said, follow me and I'll make you fishers of men. You know, because I believe that what you have gone through gets you ready for what you're going to. And I know that there are people watching me right now going through all kind of stuff. This ain't no preaching show. If you want to hear me preach, come to my church Friday night. Yes, we can, Worship Center. If you want to hear Pastor Stan preaching, he's a great preacher, go to his church on Sunday morning. But I do have to say this one thing. I got to slide this in, and that is everything you're going through right now is getting ready to lead you to the door of your destiny. And when you get in that door, you're going to need all the stuff you went through to get you ready for where you are right now. Pastor Stan, tell the people how you and I met.
You know, it's so ironic that we met through Chief Apostle. And you was telling me, you know, how you preached for him. Right. And when we met, because I know me and Chief Apostle, we think alike. Right. Because we came up together. Right. Since grade school. He's older than me, right? But we went to the same grade school, right? 107th Street School, Gompers, and Locke High School. Right. You know, he was more the gang banging, I was more the drug dealer. Right. I was more drug dealer than him. Right. He was more the gang banging type. So I was about my money. Right. So, and what happened, I met you through Chief Apostle. Right. You know, and I knew that if Chief Apostle had preached you, I knew that it's something about you that made him gravitate towards you. Right. And when I met you, you know, because I can recognize when people are real. Mm-hmm. It ain't hard to find out. I can sit down and talk to people for 10 minutes.
Thank you.
And I can find out so much about you just by what you're not saying. Right. Your demeanor. Right. What you are saying and what you're not saying. That's right. You know, and when I met you, I knew you had a love for the Lord, and I knew you was from the street, and I knew you had a love for helping homeless people. Right. And that ain't everybody don't have that. Right. That ain't from the devil. Right. The devil don't put nothing in like that in people to help people that's homeless, that's less fortunate. The devil don't do that. Right. That's only come from above. Because Satan don't put no kind of attributes like that in anybody to be a blessing to other people. That is not from the devil. Right. You know, and when I met you, the stuff that you was doing, I would watch your videos and how you would be on Skid Row, feeding people out your car. Man, there's so many, let me tell you, and I tell just like Dr. L.A. Gazi said, you know, I look at our ministry, we have a clean hand ministry. And what I mean, a clean hand ministry.
Your video went out. We hear you. Okay.
It's like when I say a clean hand ministry, right? What I mean is we don't get dirty. We don't get our hands literally dirty like you. Like when I go to Skid Row, my thoughts about Skid Row, man, I'm glad I ain't down here. And I'm just being honest. Yes. Man, I wouldn't wish this on nobody.
Thank you. Yes.
You know, and not to say that I'm better than nobody.
Absolutely.
But it's a place that I personally wouldn't want to live.
Right.
That's a place I personally would want to be.
Right.
And when I look at Skid Row,
Right.
that make me thank God that I stayed in school, that God blessed me with a job,
Right.
that I changed my life.
Yes.
Because that could have been me.
Thank you.
If I kept doing the same thing I was doing,
Right.
I would have been right there.
That's right.
And the fact that somebody down there helping the people, because everybody on Skid Row didn't choose to be down there.
That's right.
You get professional people on Skid Row.
Come on.
You get intelligent people, educated people on Skid Row.
Right. Did you see the clean cut young man you met earlier today, my armor bearer? Remember him?
Yes.
Anthony? Skid
Yes.
Row. Skid Row was his home for 10 months, and you saw him today, and you would have never guessed that.
Never.
There's an attorney. You met her, I think, at my church.
I did.
I'm not going to call her name, but there was an attorney educated at Yale who, and Pepperdine, I think it was, who we were able to get housing for. And she has a lot of issues, and we're praying that she will continue to come out of it. But you're correct. Lots of them are professionals. A lot of them, and some of them, like Anthony, they don't really need a handout. They need a hand up. They need somebody who's going to be there for them. But what I like about guys like you, Pastor Stan, and guys like Dr. L.A. Kazee, Dr. R.A. Williams, he used to help us a whole lot also with our homeless parties and all of that, is that even though some of you guys don't go there every day, you go there through me. I remember offerings that you raised in your church at Beacon Light to support the work that I did. I don't forget any of that. I remember this. One day you called me and you said, come to my house. And I said, Pastor Stan got me coming to his house. I must be a friend because I know you're a private person. I came to your house, my son and you went into your car, into your glove compartment, and came out with a whole lot of money. You said, this is for you, to help you feed those people, because I watched one of your videos last night and I had tears in my eyes. And a lot of people don't know that trying to get people to support this kind of work is difficult to do. And a lot of people think that, yes, we can. Worship Center got a lot of grants from the government. We're not government funded. We don't get our money. If it wasn't for as I said, Dr. Williams used to help a lot. Dr. Kazee helped a lot. He was pastor. Attorney John Eisen and a few others. We couldn't do what we take a shoestring budget and do some major work. We move mountains on Skid Row and all across this city by the grace of God. But I want to thank guys like you. I want to thank you personally for holding my arms up so that I can do the work that I've done, and that it has not always been this way. And I wouldn't have made it to where I am without guys like you and Chief Apostle and Dr. Williams and John Eisen and my son and Victor James and others. So before you go, anything, last words you want to say on the show, Pastor Stan? I'm going to have you back again. You already know that. Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I'm just honored, Pastor Manning, that our pathway did cross. I'm honored to be a blessing to you. I'm honored the fact that you have a heart to do what you do, because you wouldn't be able to do what you do. Because I don't care what nobody say, you have to have a heart, and you have to be led by God to do the things you do when it comes to those homeless people, man. Because I watch your videos, man. When you have homeless people talk about they didn't want to hug you. Lady, I get a hug. You feeding her, and she said, "Nah, you can't get no hug from me." Now, and I'm just being honest. With me, okay, I would say, you know what? You go somewhere else and eat there. You won't be getting other stuff. I'm feeding you, and you got the nerve to deny me a hug. I should be scared to hug you.
Help me, Lord.
But that's just a little incident. Right. I say you got to be called into doing that. Because those people, they have mental problems.
Yes.
They have other issues going on.
Yes.
And along with your safety, man.
Yes.
It ain't like you got a gun on your side while you feed these people.
Right.
You feed these people out of your car, man. Yes. And you're doing it out of your own pocket. Yes. And what I'm saying, I wouldn't mind supporting a person like you because you're doing the work. You know what I'm saying? Just like people say, we may not all agree. Let me tell you, I agree with you doing.
Thank you.
And if I can't do it, I'm not anointed to do what you do. Amen. But I'm anointed to help you do what you do.
And I thank you for that anointing. Yeah.
And I take my hats off to you. And like I say, we're gonna do bigger and better things because it's just the beginning, Doc. It's just the beginning.
It's just the beginning.
And like I say, I'm honored that our pathway did cross and we can do stuff. And you helping me do something with the homeless people.
That's right.
Because now that things are changing,
Right.
it's going to get better. And who knows? It may get funded by the government.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? They see what you're doing because you coming out of your own pocket doing this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because most people, they getting funded by the government, but they ain't doing it every day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
They come out on holidays, Doc. Thanksgiving.
Yeah. You got these movie stars.
Right.
They put the camera on the movie star. They said, look at these movie stars. Look what they're doing for the homeless.
Right.
Soon that day is over with,
Right.
you don't see them for 364 more days.
Come on.
Because it's 365 days a year.
Right. Right.
You see them every other 364 days.
Come on.
That 365th day
Right.
is the day they feed the homeless.
Thank you. Listen, we got to go. I'm going to have you back. You already know that. You know how we do it. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, every Sunday morning, 11 o'clock, Beacon Light. I'm going to get Pastor Stanley to give the address out before he goes, because guess what else? My church service on August 12th, our Friday night service is moving to Beacon Light Baptist Church. So we'll be there every Friday night at 7 o'clock p.m. from now on at Beacon Light Baptist Church. Pastor Stan, what's the address?
Yes, the address is 10306 South Avalon Boulevard. That's LA, California, 90003. It's on the corner of 103rd and Avalon. It's just south of Century and Avalon. Right on the corner of 103rd and Avalon. 10306 South Avalon Boulevard. Our service is at 11 o'clock. We're honored to have Pastor Sherman D.Manning with us. He'll be having his service there on Friday nights at 7 o'clock. Y'all don't want to miss that either.
Amen. Hey, well, look, thank you for coming, being on the show. It's been an honor to have you here. Ladies and gentlemen, please remember that you can make a difference in your city. You can make a difference in your hood. We can do it together. Yes, we can.
I know we can make it.
I know that we can.
I know that